Hey everybody, I'm Dark Ellie. I'm streaming to you today from the Revenant Gaming cluster here for Ark. Um, Today we're going to kind of go over the Lava Golem boss here on the Ragnarok server. The loot from this boss is very, very lucrative. It's a little bit of a challenge to go and do it. There's not a lot of people that run it because it's fairly challenging. So today I'm going to kind of demonstrate to you guys how actually easy it can be to go do it. If not, maybe just a tad time consuming if you're solo. Again, the rewards from doing this is very, very high. You can get Ascendant gear from it. You can get Ascendant weapons, blueprints, all of that good stuff from this boss. It is absolutely something very, very great for you to run early in your career when you start out on a server. Today we're going to be demonstrating the difficulty of this dungeon and the boss with just primitive gear. So we've got primitive flak armor, we've got primitive crossbow, primitive pump action shotgun, obviously primitive rocket launchers, some stacks of food. We've got our rockets, our shotgun shells, grapples, of course, a must-have, and then food buffs. Actually, let me go grab a few more grapples. So, again, I'm going to kind of show you guys a way through the cave. I want to show you the ins and outs of it so that you can learn it from this video. And yeah, so once I get all my stuff sorted, I don't need these. Daggone grapples. Hey there. Awesome. So typically I run 40 grapples every time I do this cave. I run 2 of each food buffs. I've got 2 bug repellent and 2 of the cactus broth. Everything inside of this cave is super, super aggressive. And the bug repellent and cactus broth helps you pretty much be invisible to almost everything in there. Guess while we're flying, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the server cluster I play on. Again, it's Revenant Gaming. We have 3 servers clustered together. It's an Aberration server, Ragnarok server, and Island server. All of it's PvE. We do structured events, such as PvP events. We have a current Lights Out event coming up soon, where the goal is there's a blue team and a red team, or there's 2 separate teams, and the goal is to knock out the entirety of the other team and lock them in a cage. And then the winners receive prizes. We recently had a big structured PvP event where the admins of the servers, the cluster, they built a base, and then all of the members of the server rallied together and kind of brought dinosaurs and weapons and all that kind of stuff to raid and destroy their base. So that way there's none of the sadness when somebody comes to raid you on official and wipes your entirety of your structures and kills all of your dinosaurs, because it's just hours and hours and hours of work. We've all been there and done that. So like I said, we are pretty friendly community. It's PvE server. We host a lot of events. So we're almost there. For those of you who are new on Ragnarok, it can be one of the greatest maps you've ever played on. It can also be one of the largest maps you've ever played on. So I'm going to land here in a second, and I'll show you guys my coordinates so you can see what's going on. You can park your dinos out here. I've never experienced any situation where anything spawned here that's attacked my dinosaur. But if you feel unsafe, you can always build like a little dinosaur pen out here outside the cave or something like that. So we're here at the cave. So first and foremost, we're going to consume at least our first set of consumables. You always want to run with your grapple out. You never know when you might hit a lag spike, server latency might be bad, or your computer hiccups. It's always a bad feeling, especially when you get into the open area inside the cave. There's a bunch of lava that you'll be grappling over. So do your best to just always have your grapples out and be ready to use that. Again, that's why I bring usually around 40 to 45 grapples each time I run this. So let's go to Game of 4. First, you see all these little circular discs. If you step on them, they are pressure plates. Shit will shoot out of the walls. They're like trank darts. They'll knock you out. And it's always a bad time. So if you have lesser gear with armor value, or if you are like your gear is broken off your body, you get hit by one of those darts, you're going lights out. So try and avoid these pressure plates as you come through. Depending on your stats, you can actually make this first jump with a run. So let me show you my stats. So I'm running about 300 HP, 150 stamina, 500 weight, because the stuff from this cave is can be very heavy from the loot. No melee damage, 131.5% movement speed, and 26 fortitude. Again, my gear is all primitive. So primitive pump action, primitive crossbow. I brought this many rounds I'm going to be clearing all the dinosaurs out in my path and kind of show you the guys the way down and in and back out. So I'm not going to be grippling past everything as I normally would. So we've got our consumables on. We've got food. We've got water. Grapples out. So we're going to go give this a go. So we're going to sprint, jump, made the first jump. Some scorpions and stuff like that. Some spiders. Like I said, you can kind of sneak past all this stuff with the consumables. This is the first jump. You're going to want to use grapples. That snake apparently wanted a piece of me. And we're just going to run past here. Once you get to this Rex, there's a little vine here that you can actually walk across. If you feel comfortable, you can sprint, you can crouch, whatever. You can actually make it across that. So just sneak past these guys. And then we walk across the rope here. Crouch, and then we're in. So I'm going to go and wait for my torpor to drop. Again, guys, this cave is all about slow and steady wins the race. So it's going to take you a little bit extra time, but I promise you with primitive gear, you can totally make it through the entirety of this. So if you only take primitive gear in here and you die, well, you just lost a little bit of farming time, right? But if you come in here with all your best gear and you lose it, then you've just lost all of the greatest gear you had, and it kind of hurts a little bit more. The sting is a little bit more realistic. So we've got a bunch of stuff here that we're going to go ahead and clear out. Pull them all back here. Don't be afraid to use the crevice as your little hidey hole. And bear with me here, guys. I'm going to clear all of this stuff like I told you, just so that we can see it all without the dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff. I know there's a lot of videos out there on like, oh, this cave's so easy, this cave's no problem, but the guy is streaming and showing you how to do it and where to go. They're all in God mode, or they've got like some ascendant weapons, and of course it's no big deal for somebody to come in here with like a 350% shotgun and just murder everything with one shot. There are arthropluras in here, so be cautious of that. We got some snakes, nothing down below us, so we're gonna go ahead and sit down. Try to avoid getting spit on. Kill that? Oh, okay. I heard a spider. Again, it's all about slow and steady, guys, so pay attention. There's a spider right there. If you bring medical brews, don't be afraid to drink them. If you start taking some damage or you take a little bit of fall damage, just drink it to top yourself back off. The whole idea is to stay ahead of the game here. I've got some trank building up, so we're going to wait just a second. Go ahead and loot this crate. We've got Journeyman Pulmonous saddle, so not the greatest thing ever. Again, if you play on a server with S+, all of these saddles that you loot can grind down into some of the raw material. So even if you're not going to use any of these saddles, even if you're not going to use some of the weapons that you're looting from here, never a bad idea just to pick them up, carry them with you. In worst case scenario, you drop them at a later time just because you're out of carry weight or something like that. So let's do one of these, just so you guys can see this all the way down without all this crap in the way. Torpor still going down a little bit, so again, you kind of want to just take your time with this place. If you get ahead of yourself, that's usually what happens, and people fail, end up dying, or they'll get too far ahead and bats will catch up or something along those lines. So we've got some bats down there, we've got a snake, we've got some spiders, so we'll go ahead and start popping these guys. Slow and steady. Looks like we've got an Arthro up here. That's nice. down. So everything's clear behind us. We've got a little leeway with coming back up here. That's great. Goodness sake. These things have so much health. Arthur down. Awesome. I'll go ahead and kill this bat because he's in the way. Or we'll miss him with a point blank shot. Alright, bat down. Awesome. So we still have a little bit of time on our food buffs. We brought extras. Again, everything out here is just a bunch of bats. So this is the part where I was telling you guys, grapple's always out. Be ready to grapple from place to place. So from here, I just go straight up here to the middle of the cave. All the way over. If you feel uncomfortable releasing your grapple and grappling to the wall over there, you can always descend right on top of these pillars. Hold right click and you can jump from pillar to pillar. And now that you're on safe ground, you can release the grapple. So it's always about playing it safe. You don't want to die by accident or from just a silly mistake. Everything over here is just mostly bats, spiders, scorpions, stuff that you're pretty much invisible to because of your bug repellent and your cactus broth. So we're going to go ahead and get this. I don't investigate my loot as I get it. I kind of just collect it all, and at the end, I'll just go through it just to see what's going on. So here, you can walk around this little ledge here. Be very careful because it's very narrow. You can't quite grapple from here, so I always just sprint and jump across. If you miss it, you got grapples out, so always use those grapples if you're going to fall. So we're going to grapple up to this. I always go from the highest and I go down from there. So look at that. We've got a 217 compound and a 216 compound from one crate. If you're new to this server and you're just high enough level to make some explosives, by explosives I mean rocket propelled grenades and rocket launchers, this is super lucrative for you guys starting out. We got some fur boots, a pistol. We're gonna go all the way around. So right now we're facing where we came in from. So that's the top of the temple there. So we're gonna come back over this way, look around a little bit. Nothing. Even though we're hearing a bunch of stuff. When you sprint across this place, there's a stupid Arthro there. Just be careful. If you sprint and jump, you can hit your head on that, and you can fall down. So whenever you... Nice. Stupid scorpion. Can't you see I'm trying to talk here? That's just rude. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and... Oh, come on. Get up. Oh, come on. Struggle's real. We're gonna drop down right here. See if this guy follows, which he did. Use the terrain to your advantage, folks. Use the terrain to your advantage. Jump across. Ta-da. Then we're going to go ahead and pull that Arthro down. There we go. Come on, come and get me. Food's on the table, friend. Fall down into the lava. There we go. Chemo. Alright, there we go. So now it's going to be safer over there. If you're going to jump, remember grapple's out. Don't sprint, just run and jump, or just push forward and jump. And you get a free loot crate here. So we've got Hyenodon meat pack, Princess Fur Cap blueprint. Again, if you're coming back just now, or you're starting for the first time on this server, this is the cave to run. So we're going to go ahead and grapple across. And we've got kind of trash, but they can't all be winners, right? So we do not have our food buffs anymore, so whatever's down this way, because it's taken some time, is going to aggress me. So let's see what we got. Doesn't look like anything. Sometimes there's a lot of stuff in the walls. That can become an issue when you get down here. So we're going to go ahead and get this artifact. Awesome. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Let's get some distance here. No Mega Rabies. Mega Rabies bad. Okay. Like I said, if you guys blitz through here without killing every single thing, or when you start getting better weapons, you'll be able to go through here at quite a bit faster pace. It'll take you less shots to kill things. And these food buffs will actually last you all the way till you get to the Lava Golem boss, which isn't too much farther from here. There's more stuff behind me, of course. Go ahead and kill these guys. He's dead, and then we're going to have to pull these bats. So let's see what we got here. 120, so it's going to take quite a few shots here. If you guys do not know, a little trick, if you reload in third person, your reload time is significantly less by just a few seconds, rather than reloading every single bullet in there in first person. You just kind of replace the whole cartridge, so it's a little bit easier. So anyway, now that these trouble's taken care of, we can just grapple over here, cut the grapple here, land perfectly in front of it. There you go, free artifact of the hunter. And we're going to grapple up here above the crystal nodes right there. And this is where you need your mining pick. Please do not forget your mining pick. I have lost it before, or forgot it rather, and it's been a pain in the butt because you just got to go back and clear a bunch of trash to try and hope they drop like a stone mining pick or something of that sort. It's really a big pain in the butt. So we are approaching and walking into the Lava Golem boss room. So everything I've shown you in the video so far is pretty much where all the loot crates are, the kind of creatures you can expect. Again, we've done all of this with primitive weapons, primitive flak set, and all that kind of good stuff. Break the rest of this stuff. And we'll go ahead and drop stone. We don't need these berries. We don't need that. Crystal. Pull out your grapples. So this is a little tricky. So the boss spawns, and he spawns right over there underneath the arrows. So I always run over here, and I just grapple up here above this crystal nodes up there, and I wait to see the message calculating number of challengers, because if you go too quickly, he actually won't spawn and you'll just waste a grapple coming up here. So again, if you're fresh on the server, misusing grapples all the time or using them as frivolous as you want, it kind of gets expensive. It's 9 metal per grapple. Doesn't seem like much, but when you run this boss cave as much as you can, as much as I do, it adds up to be a lot of material wasted. So try and do yourself a favor and just either farm up for it for the loss, or just use them caringly. Don't just use them for the sakes of using them. So we're up here. We've cleaned off all the crystal nodes on this platform, and now we're just going to give it all we've got to the lava elemental. So he always spawns at level 10 with 1 player. You think he goes up to level 20 with 2 players, and I haven't done him further than just 2 people. So we're going to start pelting him. One thing to note, just like real lava elements, or rock elementals rather, if you hit him in the head, it will do torpor damage, and torpor damage does reduce damage. So you want to try and avoid shooting him straight in the face like that. He kind of does his little head shake thing. So the best spot to shoot is the spike above his head, hanging out his back right there. And he's throwing a boulder, so take a step back. So anytime you see him stoop down, you're going to want to step out of the way. So just kind of keep shooting him in the back, keep shooting him in the back. Or the leg, whatever. Reload, please. He's getting throwing a rock. Step back up. Try to be careful here also, because you can shoot yourself just by shooting or clipping the ground here. So just be very wary about that. Something else I do to give myself a little leeway is if you jump and then shoot, it gives you that little bit extra spacing off of the ground here so that you can shoot a little better. Waiting for it to stop running around like a jerk. See, I just missed that rocket. That was a headshot, even though it wasn't in his face. That was another one. Alright, so we're going to aim for the shoulder now. And I'm going to miss the lead. That's bad. And that's why you got to be careful. Some health brews here. Wait for that to go off. So again, primitive flak guys, you can totally survive 1 or 2 shots like that. Definitely want to try and avoid getting hit by it if possible, but Mistakes happen. It's called getting arced for a reason. It's awful and terrible, but plan for it to happen, and you're never surprised. Let's try and get a better angle here. There we go. Let's take a step back. You stoop down. There goes the boulder. Now we're in a pretty decent spot right here. And again, I'm jumping in between shots here. So you're going to jump, shoot, and it gives you that little extra distance from clipping the ground. So shooting him. We're not doing head torpor damage. He just dove down, so you can take a step back. Now reapproach, jump, shoot. Rinse and repeat. So each rocket launcher uses about 20 rockets, I would say. I bring the few extra rockets. I don't know why, just in case I miss a few, you know, you never want to run out of rockets. If you die in here, you know, you have to come all the way through the entirety of the cave to reclaim your gear, basically. So typically when I die in here, I don't come back for my loot. I'll just re-gear and come back at a later time. But if you're rocking all primitive gear, you don't really have much to lose. It's all just primitive gear, some rockets. So nothing of value really gets taken away from you altogether. Just keep shooting down. That lava freaks with the screen, doesn't it? I feel like I'm gonna have a seizure if I keep staring at the lava. Goodness. Rockets in your face, rather your shoulder, because face shots are bad. This rocket launcher's about to break, so that would be the end of rocket launcher number 2. Last but not least. So typically, by the time this one goes through half its durability, the golem will die. Then we get to go relish in the rewards. Down, here he goes. He does not always stop and stay just right here. A lot of times he'll do what he was doing, wiggling around. Sometimes he sticks over here underneath this ledge over here, so you shoot him from that side of the platform. All that good stuff's throwing a rock, so step back. So, you know, it's just a lot of trial and error, learning what the boss does, in and out. Again, it can get frustrating when you lose stuff that's coming in here. It can get frustrating if you hit a lag spike, just losing all of your gear just because the server lagged. Here we go, boss is down. So grapple back out. I always crouch to come down here, take slightly less fall damage. Here we go. Be careful running this way. If you're uncomfortable dropping down like this, just drop down right here and just jump over the ledge. But if you come away from this edge over here, you can actually run straight forward without clipping that side, and you can land right here. So I grab this, not a bad shotty. Grapple back out. I'm going to grapple the wall right here, and you're going to hold the left trigger just enough to give you momentum to land on top of him. He's relatively solid. Just, again, be careful with it. This is the loot that you can kind of get from him. As you can tell, we've got pretty decent crossbow blueprint. We're going to take all of the pre-crafted stuff. We've got Ascendant for boots. We've got Mastercraft for boots, Ascendant Ghillie blueprint, metal shield, all the crafted gear I always take, all the crafted saddles I always take. We got 2 Quetz platform BPs, a 45 and a 42. The great thing about these is a 42 armor, 45 armor, and they're just journeyman and ramshackle blueprints. So they take significantly less material to craft. These are both great things for starting players on the server, simply because you can't make a platform saddle until 95. So I always kind of give these blueprints out to anyone starting out on the server. But yeah, as you can tell, we get a bunch of stuff, guys. I have not crafted a single piece of scuba. I get all sorts of scuba, Ascendant scuba. I mean, the only thing that really matters is the chest piece for the rebreather. But I'm telling you, like, when it breaks, I don't even repair the dang thing. I just drop it on the ground because I just do this so often. We're gonna go scoop all these. That's pretty much the lava golem, though. We're gonna go ahead and break this, and we're gonna come over here. As you can see, my weight's getting pretty high up there. That's what I was kind of telling you guys. Even more loot, now I am encumbered. So now what I'll do is I'll go through and drop some things that I don't need. In In this instance, like, this bow's not going to grind very well. We'll drop that. We can drop that blueprint. Metal shield, not going to grind for too well. It's a heavy thing. Apprentice Doed saddle, we're not really caring about that. Just going through, dropping what we don't need. We're no longer fat, so we're not going to get rid of all of our fat loots until we loot something else that deems us necessary to drop. If you land on the lava here, guys, it is a one-shot kill. There's no retrieving your gear unless you have the Death Helper mod or something like that, which the server does not run. So we're just going to come back up here, loot the last chest here, and then we're on our way out of here. Look at that. Ascendant Pike. Wonderful. Good pieces of gear just to start here. So here we go. Yep, this boss is on cooldown 1 hour. Every hour you can come and run this guy. So if you spend a couple days farming, if you've got some spare time here and there, you can get so much loot from this. It just takes a little bit of farming and a little bit of willpower and patience when you come in and do this. So we're going to eat our last consumables here. Grapples out. So with this one, again, I'm going to tell you guys we're going to go a little bit slower. I release right about here. Grapple to the wall here. If you don't want to do that, if you're uncomfortable, don't be afraid to grapple all the way to the ceiling and then release and then come all the way back. Because that is things to worry about. What level's this guy? 50. Alright. Of course you have a friend. Why wouldn't you? Down 10. Dang it. Always reload after using whatever amount of shotgun shells you have. My preference with weapons is coming in here with a compound bow. Primitive compound bows are great because you don't need to farm a ton of gunpowder to use them. It's just metal and some cementing paste, which you get in plethora here on Ragnarok. So I'm going to grapple all the way to the pillar over there. It clips. Release. You can fall through these, so try and jump over them. All of these bats are not going to aggress you as long as you have both of these buffs on. I've done it without the cactus broth, but the bug repellent is pretty much a must. So we're going to grapple straight over here. Looking around just to make sure there's nothing crazy. And this is where a bunch of respawns come in. So we've got some scorpions right there, so let's go ahead and shoot that. They'll kind of wiggle around. You can just take them out, or they'll wiggle around down into the lava, just like that. If you want to reserve ammo, you can. If not, you just kill them as such. We're going to go and break our grapple now. Again, once you grapple to the wall, there's no real need to immediately ungrapple. You know, you can always give yourself some slack. The slack you get from it is very, very lengthy, so you don't always need to. So we're going to come back up here. We're a little encumbered from all the loot and all the shotgun shells I brought, but we'll be fine. So I'm just going to run past all this stuff. A lot of this is cleared. There's a snake there. We're going to grapple up here. Go all the way back down. Arthur Prelura, not an issue. We're just going to grapple up and over him. Cactus broth and the bug repellent make us invisible to these guys. So we're just going to sneak past these spiders, or not. They're going to aggress us. Whatever. Don't need to deal with them now. You can always deal with them when you come back. Or if you want to kill them, you can kill them. But they're just going to respawn. So we're going to wait for the webs to despawn. We've still got our buffs on. So we're going to walk across. But that's why we have grapples on. You are going to make mistakes. You are going to fall and die. You're going to fall and almost die. You're going to sometimes leave this cave with next to no gear on. Sometimes you'll leave it without being touched a single time. It's all random. We're all human. We're going to make mistakes. So please just don't get discouraged whenever you're doing this stuff. Always keep at it. Don't forget, the reward is definitely worth it, especially if you're starting out fresh on the server. Oh, they're just eating that body. I didn't arrest them. Now I arrest them. Awesome. They found a juicy dry jelly. I'm fat, so I'm not going to make this jump. I'm just going to grab a little bit. And once you get here, guys, it's a home stretch. So even if you die from these traps knocking you out or something kills you here, you can always retrieve your body. It's not a problem. So that's pretty much it, guys. We're going to go over the loot one last time just so you guys can see what we've got. Came in here with 3 rocket launchers, 65 rockets, or 64 rockets, I forget. Canteen, food, bring a spyglass just so you can see levels of stuff. We brought 500 rounds. I went through a ton of shotgun ammo just to kind of show you guys the creatures ahead, show you exactly the path around. Once you get more familiar with it, you can just grapple past all the creatures right there in the beginning with just like 2 or 3 grapples. We went through here with, I think, like 42 grapples. We have 19 left, so there's definitely room for error. Don't be afraid to spend those just to save and secure your victory. Flat Gear took a bit of damage. I got hit by a lot, including the Lava Golem boss. He threw that big boulder, lit me on fire and everything. So this is totally possible, everyone. Just pay attention to what you got going on in front of you. Pay attention to your surroundings. Prepare for those random dinosaurs that are stuck in the walls and all that good stuff. So again, we got a bunch of really great loot. If this was my first or second time running this, I would have made out like a bandit. These compound bows are pretty decent. Even these saddles are pretty awesome. If you've got a grinder, you can grind these platform saddles down into cementing paste, pearls, metal, and hide. They grind into very large amounts. Totally worth coming in here getting. All of my Ascendant blueprints that I own have come from this cave specifically. So that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed your time. I hope I was very helpful for you watching. And hopefully you guys pay attention for future episodes coming out. Thanks.